Who are you? Why are you here? And more important, where are you going? Beliefs matter. Beliefs form who you are and what you are. But who are you? We live in a very polarized world, and we think that we are oh so unique, that we're in uncharted waters, and that we're going to an uncharted future, unknown, unscripted, undetermined. Really? 100 years ago, April 6th, 1917, the United States of America entered World War I, the war to end all wars. And we were fighting, Woodrow Wilson assured us, for democracy. It went down in history as the most bloody war ever. And that says something, because it was just a prelude to devastations and genocide to follow. At the end, or after the Second World War, the famous saying was, "Wir haben's nicht gewusst." We didn't know. Really? History has not judged kindly on this plea of ignorance. Will we in the 21st century do any better? Will we too say, oh, the future was uncharted. I didn't know. Wir haben's nicht gewusst. We live in a polarized world, and we know it. We open our phones, and we're bombarded by breaking news every 2 minutes. Can't wait, quickly see what happened. What tweet did I miss? Post-fact, a world that is dissolving in everybody's opinion. And we love to go there. We're evolutionary, evolved to go there. Because it's in our mind, or the power of our brain, to go to the amygdala. The amygdala is that place in the brain where we have the fight and flight, where we go when we kind of have to process the base emotions of memory, but more so of fear and anger. And we can make these wonderful narratives of us versus them. And we're always, surprisingly, the heroes of our own stories, right? We are right. We got the right values. We have the right insights. But the other ring, the dehumanizing of the other opponent, that's where the dichotomy begins, and where we kind of strip the other person, the other group, of their values, of their faces, of their dignity, even of their life. These are the narratives that send us into prison and into wars. It's that othering of the other, the dehumanization of the other. But thank God we have an evolved brain that's not just amygdala, but we have evolved other parts of our brain, the frontal lobes and the prefrontal cortex. And we as a species are actually kind of special. Not so special as you think, because we're not that special. But we're special in a unique way. We can cooperate, right? We're all here. Okay, I hear you saying other species do that much better. Look at the ants, the termites, the bees. We as humans think a lot of the time that we're so special, but one thing I really want to bring forward is that we're special because we're here. And not because we're here, but because we have an abstract idea. We all are here for TED. TED is an idea. It's all in our minds, right? It's no thing that you can touch. But TED is an idea, and it proliferates the power of ideas because they're worth spreading. Our human capacity to have abstract ideas is unique because a lot of other species cooperate, but not on abstraction, on a fiction, on an idée fixe, as we would say in Latin class. So that we can come together, and not only for TED, the most universal one is in the back of your pockets and probably in the back of your mind how the stock market closed, is money. Pure fiction. We have this agreement that we give a little piece of paper, and unfortunately the green piece of paper is more valued, is the dollar, up over my Dutch currency, which is blue, much nicer. But no, it's the green. We all decided that the green is going to, regulate the whole global market. That's amazing. But we have a history of ideas. I already mentioned democracy. We will fight for that and went to war for that. But human rights. Anybody seen a human right? Touched a human right? It's an idea, right? But it's a powerful idea, and it's an idea worth spreading. The most ancient construct of idea, that's why you're here and listening to me, is God. God, the anthropologists tell us that God and the belief in religion has been with us since the beginning of any civilizations that we know of. The first civilizations already had signs of a belief in an afterlife or in a soul. So this is a powerful, powerful construct and powerful belief. But what I want to point out is it's an idea, and an idea gets power by the value you give it, the belief you lend it. And we all have beliefs. And they all can be very, very powerful if we bring it up to our prefrontal cortex and in our creative processing of our brain, where we have problem solving, imagination, spontaneity, and where we can actually have a social intelligence. That's a complicated part of our brain. Or we can regress to that, evolutionary base instinct of us versus them. What about our history? What about this tradition, specifically the Judeo-Christian tradition? We love to put things in the closet. So if you think back, if you look at Genesis 2 and 3, there's this beautiful story about this garden, this lush, tov, meaning good, beautiful garden. Everything is good and abundant. And there are actually two people there called Adam and Eve. And they can enjoy everything, and they can eat to their heart's desire except one thing. One thing is verboten, is off limits. One tree of which they shall not eat. What is this with this tree? It's the tree of good and evil, the tree of knowledge. And, of course, immediately all the Hebrew scholars and all the academics are, what does that mean? What does that mean? What would this tree symbolize? Is it metaphorically? Is it a real tree? Or no, better still, it's Eve, it's women, it's sexuality. How about throwing Adam's sexuality there in as well? And I think you can still find it there, especially the women. Original sin. And, of course, science, knowledge of a world that should be off limit. We have put things in that closet ever since. But we've also have experience to put things out of the closet. In the beginning of the scientific revolution, that we're so proud of, came up with this idea to start reading Genesis before Eden and before the fall. And there it says, God created them in his image, in his likeness, imago Dei. We are like God in that we are reasonable, rational, we have intelligence, we have a moral compass, and if we just put them together, we can discover the world, we can subjugate the world, we can take dominion over the world, and we hope maybe sometimes stewardship as well. That unleashed incredible scientific and understanding discovery, really opened the scientific world for us after Bacon. And this concept of imago Dei, that we are in the image of God and go out and conquer the human book of God, the world as we know it. But by the 18th century, that imago Dei started to kind of get old. And we said, no, who are we really? The founder and the beginning of biology taxonomy, Carl Linnaeus, said, no, you know what we are? Homo sapiens. We are wise men. Really? If you look at global world at the moment, who would think that we are collectively wise? But somebody in the 18th century believed that. Homo sapiens we are, because we don't only have scientia, knowledge, we have also the ability, he claimed, to discern. We can discern between what the right action is. Homo sapiens. But then the religious scholars soon came and they said, wait a minute, no, we might not be Homo sapiens because you can only be that if you are religious, or if you're Homo religiosus. We as humans, here the change of perspective, we as humans have the capacity to transcend ourselves. We can transcend into a different world. No, 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 others said. No, there are maybe Homo religiosus, just one, like Buddha, Moses, Christ, or Mohammed. They're the single grand exemplars, religious men that have lifted up people and a following in the masses to follow in a moral compass. But not all of us. And then smart people at the end of the 19th century said, like Durkheim and Eliade says, no, it has nothing to do with religious or non-religious. We are Homo religiosus because we can make a distinction, an important distinction, a distinction between the profane, the everyday, going to classes, going to work, and the sacred. The beginning of the Shabbat, Friday afternoon prayers, going to church, or voila, here, this is the sacred. Coming together for a TED Talk. Going to that football game. You call it the Super Bowl. But it's a ritual, right? You dress up, you eat special food, you sing songs, you do silly, sacred. By the 20th century, however, God died. God died one wintry afternoon in the courtyard of Auschwitz. 3 men were hung that day in 1944 by the SS. 2 grown men and a child. The 2 men died instantly when the chairs were kicked under them, crying, "Long live freedom." But that emaciated boy, was too light to die by his own weight and had no breath to live. And Elie Wiesel said, "There hangs God." God died in Auschwitz, and God was dead in the second part of the 20th century, definitely in Europe and in America. So who are we? Who are we? If we're not Homo religiosus, not Homo sapiens, what do you think? What are we? Truly, fundamentally, as a human species. Now, in the 21st century, we think we're very smart, right? We are so brilliant that we, through science, can know everything. And we don't need the hypothesis of God anymore. We got rid of it because we have ourselves. But is that truly what we are? I think we are basically Homo Anxious. We are born alone, naked, with nothing. Maybe thanks to our parents we get something. And we die alone and naked. And there's no U-Haul truck that we can take. And in between, with our beautiful organ, the brain, we frantically try to make meaning of our lives here and now. And we have beliefs that get us down in our amygdala, or we have beliefs that rise us up. I want to just end with 2050. Where will we be globally on the map of religion? And one thing I can tell you, we're going to be furious religious as ever in 2050, based on fertility rates, youth populations, and people changing faith. The big change will be there will be many more Muslims in the world. Atheists, agnostics, and those not affiliated with religion will diminish by 3% in 2050. So what does it leave us? Where are we at the end, and what is the uncharted nature of our future? Wir haben es nicht gewusst is not going to cut it. What do you know? And what do you believe? How you can engage with people who think differently than you. That will matter. Thank you very much.